Ago to Voch Rabboisai. Lilu Nishmasi Mimirasi Rispas Mordechai. So you might be wondering, Agut to Voch, it's light outside. Yeah, it's actually Friday. We have a little bit of an issue because the one and only Mark Ashkenazi is in America right now, and he won't be able to do it for us. And our other pro at this remote live is Avremi, and he's not available. So I decided to jump on here. No emails. It's just the daf. Rabbi say just the daf. There won't be just the daf on this daf because there's no jokes, no stories today. No emails. Live from Eilat. My wife was here with friends for about 3 days. I said, you know what? I'll join her. Myself and Avi, we went down here and we joined our wives for Shabbos. And we'll be back, Be'ezer Hashem, on Sunday. It's Givaldic over here. It's not really 100% Eretz Yisrael according to some people, but nevertheless, it's beautiful. You can see in the background right over here. These are the mountains. That's Jordan right over there. And I don't know if you can see houses. Could you see houses from here, Avi? The Jordanian houses? You can see some Jordan. And this is the water. This is, it's very not smart what I'm doing. I'll raise it up a little bit. Maybe. Oh. That's the Yam Suf. Okay, let me see if I can get it back down in one piece. Okay. Anyways, so there's the ocean view here, a beautiful ocean view, and the mountains and the whole thing, and it's almost Shabbos. So everything said, first of all, I want to give a tremendous yishkoch to Mark Ashkenazi, who woke up at 3 in the morning to do this in Phoenix. And it's almost Shabbos here, yishkoch to the Chevra for allowing me to do this, and all the guys behind the scenes. We'll just do the sponsors. I don't even know if we have all the sponsors because it's a little bit earlier than usual. The Masechta is sponsored. Let me read it from over here. The Masechta is sponsored by David Solomon, dedicated in memory of Avi Meir, Reb Shmuel Baruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Dov Zichron Levracha. The Masechta is sponsored by anonymous Lili Nishmas Doidi Shlomi Yehuda Zichron Levracha ben Shmuel Chaim Asher Shokav Elov Kedosha Kochim Kol Chayav. I think that bird has been making that sound since I got up in the morning. And we have buses and all sorts of things that go by here, but this is the best we could do with the view. Anonymous, L'Zeichen Nishmas Nochum Tzvi Ben David. Sponsored by Skybrook Capital in honor of our friends Meir Kovacs, Taki and Shamshi Shlafrak for the devotion to Torah study and the shir. Joel Gedalius, L'Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalius. Anonymous, Hatzlacha Baruchnis Ubegashmias. Multi sponsors, Anonymous, Broch Halabili Dai, Baruch Tzvi Nisim and Shoshana Leah, Yudah Ben Yomim and Chava. Tzvi Jacobs, for Refuah Shlema, for Bracha Bat Chana, weekly sponsor, Anonymous, for Refuah Shlema, for Tinog Ben Chana Ilana. He should have a Refuah Shlema. Martin Lifshitz, Rav Osher Michal, Ber Tzvi, Zechatak Levracha. Oh, sorry, let's do this. Lili Nishmas, father, Rav Osher Michal Ben Reb Tzvi, Rabbi Lieutenant Kol Oscar M. Lifshitz. Anonymous from Los Angeles in honor of Esther Golda. Monthly, Refuah Shlema for Yehona Tanetam Ben B'Shav Bracha, always gives us chizik when it comes to the Beis Medrash. Refuah Shlema, Mordechai Ben Esther, Refuah Hayela, Daniel Zeb Ben Ayelet Esther. Okay, Rabbi Isai, here we go. We're top of Samach Beis, Amud Aleph. Put on your seatbelts. Today is a Gadata type of style Gemara. What I mean by that is it's very, very easy. We're talking about the beautiful things in the Beis Hamikdash with a little bit of a Gadata. We'll call it a Gadata. Omer Rav Yosef. So yesterday we had this whole discussion. Maybe I'll bring this over here. We had a discussion about the size of the Mizbeach. And what came out was by Shlomo HaMelech's generation, it was 28 Amma by 28 Amma. And later on, they made it 32 by 32. And the question is, why? Omer Rav Yosef Leivhanu Desanyo, we learned, Vayechinu HaMizbeach HaMechonoisav. Shigiu L'Seif Midaisav. That the Anshe Knesset HaGdoila, there were many, 100 and I forgot, 100 and something, 180 maybe, Anshe Knesset HaGdoila. Some of them were Nevi'im like Ezra and Nehemiah, and they were able to get to the bottom of it. something which Shlomo wasn't able to. So Shlomo had his Mizbeach at 28, they were able to enlarge it to 32. Ask the Gemara, how could that be? Voch hakol b'chsav miyad Hashem olai, his skill that David HaMelech says, Hashem gave me everything, he gave me all the measurements, I know it all. And if he knew it, he gave it to Shlomo HaMelech. How's it possible Shlomo HaMelech didn't know it? El Amar Rav Yosef says, Rav Yosef, Kro Ashkech V'darash. We can learn this from a pasuk. Vayomer David Zehu Beis Hashem Elokim V'zeh Mizbeach Lo'ila Yisrael. Says the Gemara, we could darshan and make a haggash between the Beis Hamikdash and the Mizbeach. Ki bayis, it's just like the house of Hashem, in other words, the Heichal. Ma bayis shishim amo, af Mizbeach shishim amo. The Heichal was 60 amma long, so too was the maximum of the Mizbeach could be 60. And they went 32, they went easy. But they realized, they darshan the pasuk, it could be up to 60 amma of the Mizbeach. Says Gemara Bishlam Bayis Mikra Tzuras. I know where the Beis Hamikdash was, the second Beis Hamikdash, because you could see the foundations of the original Beis Hamikdash. So they put it down right there. El Mizbeach B'no Yad. How did Klal Yisrael know where to put the Mizbeach and Bayis Sheni? How did they know the place? There's a number of answers. Omer Rebbe Lazar, Ro Mizbeach Bonu. You see, I'm telling you, it's Mamish Agadata. They saw the Mizbeach Bonu. You know that in Shemaim there's corresponding Beis Hamikdash, corresponding Mizbeach, corresponding Yerushalayim, right above Yerushalayim. So they were able to see the Mizbeach up there. It was built. Umichal Asar Agadol, and Michal, the great Sar, Oimed Umakru Olav, he was bringing Korbanos to Hashem. And in that exact spot, they just lasered it from the top to the bottom, and they put it down with a, what is it called? Not a pendulum. What is it called? Do you know that device that they used to use? It was like it's like a weight that looks like an arrow. It comes to a point. You put a string on it, something like a forgot what it's called. Anyway, they don't even use it today because today we have lasers and who knows what. So if you tie a string with a piece of metal to the Mizbeach up top and you bring it down below, and then you know exactly the space, the spot. The ashes of Yitzchak. Now we know Yitzchak wasn't shechted and he wasn't brought up as an oila, but it's referring to the ashes of the ayol, of the ram. So they saw those ashes and they realized that's where the Mizbeach is supposed to be. In the entire Beis Hamikdash, there was the smell and the fragrance of the beautiful Ketores. And when they came there, they were able to smell the fragrance of the Evarim. Let's see. This is for today.
איך נמצא את המקום של המזבח? רגע, יש לי רעיון. כן, יותר ימינה. בדיוק, תורידו אותו איפה שהריח של הבשר. מצוין.
Yeah. Oh, my Rabbi Baruch Chana, I'm going to control myself. I was going to say over for Shimshon Pinkos and the crane, but it's just the daf. Mikol Abai is cool. Richu Reach Ktoris Mishom Richu Reach Evarim. Oh, my Rabbi Baruch Chana, Omer Yochna. Shlosh Neviim Olu Imoy Min HaGoyla. There were 3 Neviim, Chagai, Zechariah, Malachi, who came up from Gaul. They went from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. Echad Shehed Lohem Al Mizbeach. One said a nevuah about the size of the Mizbeach. V'echad Shehed Lohem Al Mekayim Mizbeach. And one gave a nevuah on the exact placement of the Mizbeach. V'echad Shehed Lohem Shemakrivim Afa B'Shein and Bayis. And the third one gave us a halacha that what? That you could bring karbanos even though there's no Beis Hamikdash, as long as there's a Mizbeach. Similar, but a little different. Rebbe Lezer Yaakov says the 3 Nevi'im, Chagi, Zechariah, Malachi, came up. Echad Shehed Lem, he's going to put 2 of the nevuahs that we said before into one, and therefore he's allowed one more nevuah, and he uses it for something completely different for a Sefer Torah. Echad Shehed Lohem Al Mizbeach, Val Mekoyim Al Mizbeach. One said a nevuah about the size of the Mizbeach and the placement of the Mizbeach. Ve'echad she'elem shemakrivim abishem bais, and the other one said that you can be bring karbanos even though there's no base hamikdash. Ve'echad she'elem ala Torah she'tikos ashuris, and the other one said that the Torah is written with a special ktav ashuris like we have today in the Sefer Torah, because originally, says Rashi, was written with ktav ivri, which is similar. You know, if you ever saw the Dead Sea Scrolls and that sort of thing, that has ktav ivri. It's different than what we have today. Or Rashi says that it started out as Ashuris, we forgot it, it went to Ivri, and then it was brought back to Ashuris. Torah Baron Keren. So the Gemara says like this: there are 4 things that are essential, and if you don't have them, the Mizbeach is possible. Keren, the corner horns, the Kevesh and the ramp, the Yisoid, and the bottom base that we have on the Mizbeach, the Ribu, and the fact that it's square, Ma'akvim. If you don't have that, then it's possible. Midas arkoy, midas rachboy, midas kamasai. The size is not ma'akiv. It's not essential. A ma'akiv. Mino arimili. Omar avono, omar kro. Hamizbeach. So if it says hamizbeach, it doesn't say mizbeach. Hamizbeach means, I think the lighting is getting better actually. You're able to see my face better now? Yeah, oh, you don't see it. To me, it just looks better. I don't know if that's true. But when I look at myself in this little tiny screen, it looks like I'm not as dark as I was before. I think you can see the water right over here.
Yeah, good.
Okay. That's because the sun is getting further away. It's getting close to Shkia, actually. When's Shkia? In an hour? Not really. Huh?
Yeah,
4:25 is mincha. Oh wow, hour and 10 minutes. Okay, let's move on, because it says the word hamizbeach. Hamizbeach means that it's ma'akev, it's essential. Elamata kiur l'rebi. The kiur means there was over here. So you see this decorative things over there, that one, and there's the michbar. So the Gemara says, so you tell me that it's essential to have these depictions and this artwork on the side of the Mizbeach. It says ha-Mizbeach. You told me anytime it says ha-Mizbeach, it's ma'akiv. They're not arguing really. Just Rebbe says, Rebbe says that it's plain, and Rebbe says it has some sort of lattice depiction in there. This says Gemara yes, it is ma'akiv, and I'll prove it to you. The famous story, I said it already. I said it from the Masechet Sukkah, but here it is. That there was a tzedukah that went on top of the mizbeach, and he was pouring the yain, the water, the nesachim of Sukkos, and instead of pouring it onto the mizbeach, he poured it on his feet. He made a big chayzik out of it, as if he's washing his feet. So the Gemara says that the kol rugmu kol besrayim, they took their esrayim, they're holding it, and they pelted him with it. The Yerushalmi says that he died from it, but doing that caused the mizbeach to have a dent or whatever. It broke the mizbeach and it became pogum. So they brought a big lump of salt, and they patched it. If you patch it with salt, it's not kosher. Just as long as it doesn't look bad. Let me just show you this thing real quickly. A little feature film.
הוא מנסח על הרגליים!
מה נעשה? איך נתקן את המזבח?
אמנם מלח לא יעשה את המזבח כשר, אבל לפחות זה ייראה יותר יפה עד שנתקן אותו.
Excellent. Looks lovely.
So it says like this. If you don't have these 4 things, you don't have the horn, the ramp, the base, and that it's square is possible. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Omer Rav Soivev. Akoponim, we see Soivev is ma'akev. Torah Rabbanan. Ezu Karkov. What's the Karkov? So we're going to use this that we used the other day. This is Moshe Rabbeinu's Mizbeach, that was 5 by 5. And the Gemara wants to say that between the purple horns, the outer part of the Mizbeach, that's Karkov, depicted in gold. That's where the Kohanim used to walk. Ask the Gemara, it makes no sense. That's not where the Kohanim used to walk. The Kohanim used to walk in the teal area, in the bluish, the light blue area where it says 111. And the place that the Kohanim used to walk is Amma. As the Gemara of Aksiv, but it seems like that the Karkov was on the wall. Actually, you could see it over here, even in this picture. It was on the wall right over here, not on the top of the Mizbeach right over here. We're talking about the roof, the rooftop. But it says it's on the side of the wall. That's where the Karkov was. There's 2 Karkovs. One for beautification. One, so it was this one for beauty, and then there was this one, the blue one. But the blue one, Rabbi Yisai, is Shaloi Nishtarku, that they shouldn't fall off the Mizbeach. So what do? Let's say you have a bunch of tiles. The blue ones were lower than the gold ones. So when the Kohanim are walking on the blue, if they were to go out of, sometimes you drive down the highway and you hear that sound. They put these cuts in the highway, so if you fall asleep, what? It slows you down. It makes a little giant noise. It scares your wife, and you pretend that you're driving fine. When she hears it, you go, no, it's just I'm chilling. I'm not so makbid to hit it once in a while. So they had that also. That was invented in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. It's a little lower, and when you come off and you're barefoot, it stabs your toe or your heel, and you know not to go any further. Midas arko, midas rochba, midas kamasa ma'akvim. The length, the width, the height is not ma'akiv, as long as it's a perfect square. Omar Rebbe Money, who is this? Omar Rebbe Money, says Rebbe Money. It cannot be less than this mizbeach of 5 by 5. Or we had a machlokes, 10 by 10, 5 by 5. Right? Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda says 10 by 10. V'kamo, Omar Rabbi Yossi v'amo. Says Rabbi Yossi, you know how big Moshe Rabbeinu's mizbeach was? 1 amma. Now, if I were to ask you what's pshat and what he's saying, how could it be an amma? Everybody knows it's minimum 5. It's probably 10 or 5, but not 1. So what's the answer? Everybody made fun of him. It's a mefurish pasuk, it has to be 5. He said, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's 5 from the center. Center to the end, 5. Center to the bottom is 5. Total of 10. Okay, it's either 5 or 10, but it's not 1. Maybe the pshat is, we got music. Gewaldig. So maybe the pshat is, not maybe. Look at this, the black spot over here. That's 1 by 1. There's nothing left. You have the corners, you have where the Kohanim walk, and then you're left with 1. Says Gemara, Margaver Rabbahu. Wow, Abaye, you're a big Talmid Chacham, Yoda my Kamina, you understood what I said. That's exactly what I meant. And those who made fun of him, he says the Gemara Daf Samach Beis on Beis on the top. Whoever made fun, he called them Bnei Keturah. You're the kids of Keturah. This week's parasha, boy, say kiss from Hashem. Avraham Avinu married another woman by the name of Keturah. Oh, I hear your kids already. I gotta hurry up. Huh? Yeah. So you have the sons of Avram, and then you have Yitzchak Yaakov. This is not the same Zera Avram. It's Zera Avram, but it's not from Sarah, it's from Keturah. Says Gemara another time, what?
They don't say, but they're not Arelim.
They're not Arelim, they're Ishmaelim.
As opposed to calling them a Bnei Esav, they call them Bnei Keturah.
That's the word. Bnei Keturah is like Qatar. Bnei Achasid Reb Tarfon. We have a similar story that Reb Tarfon was learning Torah with his nephews. Now these nephews weren't talking. Like you say, You give a dvar Torah, and everybody just looks at you like this. They weren't talking, so he decided to wake them up. Havyatzik came to Rav Tarfon, says, and what does it say in the Aleph over here? V'lo yahaver amri midi, says the Agoyz V'tzionim. Rashi also says that in a way. He says Kadeshi Dabro. Akaponim, he tried to wake them up like I do this in Shir. Sometimes I make a mistake. You think I'm making a mistake? I'm trying to wake the Olam up. Sometimes I skip a few lines to wake the Olam up. Look at me there, Tarfin. Everybody knows the pasuk. Shmo Keturah. So he's stuck in Yochani instead of Keturah. Oh, who did they wake up? To fix the Balkaira, everybody loves to do that. Ariel, Keturah. Oh, this is where people usually tell me, turning on sponsors. Which reminds me, I have to do the sponsors. Ariel, Keturah. So he said, Kari Aleim Bnei Keturah. Exactly. This is a famous joke. But I'm not going to say it here in Shir. But there was a woman who used to correct the Balkaira from the Ezras Nashim. So he wanted to get back at her, so he made a mistake on purpose, and she corrected him, and then she realized that he was making fun of her. So this is also the same thing, where those who know the joke, but over here, he used a word Yoichani. He knew they were going to say Keturah, and he said, that's your name. You're a Keturah. You're the son of a Keturah. Why don't you speak up beforehand? Oh, it's only 20 minutes in. Givaldik. Let me just do the sponsors. Turning of the Daf. Sponsored by Dar Global. Lilinish was Rebzegel ben Ravam Meyer Meisels. Lilinish was reviewed Dave Ben Rabbi Yisrael. Anonymous says Chus Vatzloch and Ruchnius and Gashmius. Let me put up my hand. Let's see when it delayed. Oh, it's really delayed. Judah Anonymous says Chus Vatzloch and Ruchnius and Gashmius. Judah Elisheva Batya Schlesinger. Vatzloch and Simcha Fiyol. Yudah Ben Dvora Elisheva Miriam Baschana and Batya Bas Elisheva Miriam. Says the Eli Gemara. Omer Abayo Bar Huno Omer Avchoma Bar Guryo. Another more Agadah. Every single morning they would put wood on top of the mizbeach. Now I could show you how they did it, but I want you to notice what kind of wood. What was the shape of the wood? It was a perfect square that was an amma by an amma, but only this thin. Let's see the video. Oh, says Gemara. How's the lighting on that screen? Face is still dark. Use a little light, maybe like next time a projector or something. Gzirin shasa Moshe Arkon Amma Barachman Amma was 1 amma by 1 amma. Va'avin kamachak goydish sa. It was very thin, like the machash goydish sa. What's that? Here, take a look at this video. When you buy wheat, and it's full. So use something like this, literally like this. It's very thin, and you go over the top with the thinness. It's able to make it nice and smooth. Not like in this video where it's left over has a little heap over there. So again, it's this wide, an amma by an amma, square, but this thin. That's the wood that they would put on the mizbeach every single morning. Sorry. Omar Yirmiyah, ba'ama geduma. Listen, since it must fit on this small area of an amma on top of this mizbeach, so let's make it a smaller amma. There's 2 types of ammas: an amma of 6 tvachim and an amma of 5. Let's make it from an amma of 5 tvachim. Ba'ama geduma. Omar Yirmiyah, how do the sanya? But it says in the Brayso, alo eitzim asher ala ish asher ala mizbeach. It says by oila. Not on, it shouldn't go out in the center. It shouldn't come off the sides of the mizbeach. But the sides of the mizbeach are 5 amas wide each side. So you could do a regular amma of 6 tvachim. Don't worry about the 5 tvachim amma. Not awesome. Kevesh hoyal l'deroi moshel mizbeach. There's a ramp, and the ramp came off the mizbeach, but on the southern side of the mizbeach. Oirech shleishim u'shnayim aroichav sheishesrei. It was 32 long, 16 wide. Remember the sugi we had 32 plus 32 equals 64, but the mizbeach itself was only 62. Why? Because the as we're going to see in the Gemara, the kevesh actually went on top of the soiviv and the yisoid. What kind of bird is that? Oh, it's a raven. Maybe he wants to learn Torah or something. Karen Oiled Dremish Mizbeach was on the southern side of the Mizbeach. How do we know that it was on the southern side of the Mizbeach? You should shecht on the thigh of the Mizbeach. Safina. In other words, the feet of the Mizbeach are in the north. The thigh feet are in the north. The Gemara understands that the ramp to the Mizbeach is the face. The face is the top. The face is what you start out with. That's what you see first. So the kevesh, the ramp, is what you go on first. That's the face of the Mizbeach. That should be in the south. Why? Because the yerech, the thigh, is in the north. As the Gemara, who said maybe both the thigh and the face are in the north. Look, when a person lays down, his face is facing one way and his feet are facing in another direction. Maybe you should say that the person is sitting up. When a person is sitting up, his face and his feet are facing in the same direction. But it says Revuah is the language of laying. He's laying down, not sitting. But wait a minute. The word Revuah comes to tell me that the Mizbeach is square. How do you know the Mizbeach must be square? From the word Revuah. You can't say that he's laying down. If it would just say that it has to be square, it should say Meruba. But it doesn't say Meruba, it says Revuah. Revuah means that he's laying down also. But it doesn't say Ravos. If you want to tell me that he's laying down, say a different word, Ravos. It says it interesting. It should say Ravos. But instead it says Revuah. So from the word Revuah, I learned two things. First of all, it has to be square. Second of all, it's in a laying position. In other words, that the ramp is to the south and the feet are to the north and in a different direction. But another Tana brings it from a different way completely. That we're talking about that the ramp is in the south. The Sanya. We're talking about the outside Mizbeach. The ramp, like the steps that go up, the ramp faces the east, Kadim. And the Gemara says, any direction you take, you have to face towards the east. As the Gemara Mizrach. Maybe the ramp is in the north. How do you see from here the ramp is in the south? Maybe the ramp is in the north. And when you make a left turn, if you're going up, if the ramp is in the south, in the north, and you go up the ramp, you're going to go towards the west, towards east. Go up. The ramp is in the east side of the Azara. The north side of the Azara. So you go up the ramp. It's in the north side, and you make a right. You make a left. You're going to hit Mizrach. Yeah? Should I say it again? I'll say it again. Maybe, the Gemara says, who told you the ramp is in the south? Maybe the ramp is in the north. And when you go up a ramp that's in the north, facing south, and you make a left, you're going to hit east. You're going to hit Mizrach. Says the Gemara, the Torah by Chizki, Yam Shas Shloima. So you had this thing called Yam Shloima, right? There's a famous sefer, Yam Shloima. So he had a pool that was situated on top of 12 bulls. And the pasuk says, "Shloisha oimen al shnei masar bakar, shloisha poidim tzafayna, ushloisha poidim yama, ushloisha poidim negba." So the pasuk says it in counterclockwise. It starts off shloisha poidim tzafayna, north, and instead of going east clockwise, it's going counterclockwise west. Ushloisha poidim yama, which is west. Ushloisha poidim negba, and then you get to south, and then you come to east. So it's going counterclockwise. In other words, when you're facing every turn that you make, you should be making to the right. You're facing the Mizbeach, you're turning, you're stepping sideways to the right the whole time. Says Gemara, but wait a minute, you can't learn anything from that pasuk Shlomo. We need to know the story that Shlomo Melech made 12 bulls and he put the Yam Shlomo on top of it, a whole pool. Says the Gemara, you're right. The actual pasuk can eat for itself. Okay, poinim lamali, but it says the word poinim 3 times. From that I learned that every direction that you take, when you have a fork in the road, a yid geht rechts. A yid geht rechts. If we would have made it rechts instead of a links, we would have been in Yerushalayim or something, choshev. Instead, we ended up in Eilat. No, it's your fault. We went left. No, we were trying to get to the wife. Shal Reb Shimon ben Yosi ben Lekunya es Reb Yosi. Oymar Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Did Reb Shimon ben Yochai say Avir Yosh ben Kevish Mizbeach? Did the Mizbeach look something like this, where there's a space between the actual ramp and the Mizbeach? What do you mean? What do you mean, Reb Shimon ben Yochai? What about you? Let's figure it out ourselves. It says, it says the word basar and dam in the same pasuk. So let's learn. We can learn meat from blood. Madam bezrika, avbasa bezrika. You throw blood, you throw meat. In other words, if you have to throw the meat, obviously there's a gap. Who says there's a gap? Maybe you're supposed to throw it even though there's no gap. Think about it. Is there a giant fire there? Is it very hot? Yes. So if it's very hot, how are you going to place something nicely and easy into a fire without getting burnt? You must toss something into, you have a big bonfire, you toss it, you don't put it in. Mimela, if the Torah says that you should toss it, obviously it's referring to something else, not logic. Logic will tell you have to toss it. I don't need a pasuk for that. Saying toss means stand on the ramp and toss it over the gap into the fire. Yeah, we said this. There's no other way. And it has to be that there's a gap. Rav Papa says another svar, just like blood. When you throw the blood from a kli, it goes in the air and there's ground underneath it. So too, when you throw the meat, there should be ground underneath it. Now, how is it ground underneath it if you're on top of the ramp and you throw it on the mizbeach? Obviously there's a gap, like a skylight that goes all the way down to the ground. And when you throw the meat over the gap, it passes over the ground. So this is just the guy throwing the meat, but it's not so exact because he's passing the foul line. No, we don't need this. Here we go. Rabbi say, take a look at this. There's 2 small ramps on the side. Yeah, I'll tell you what that does. So you remember, let's take a look at this one. Now you can see the 2 small ramps coming off the large ramp. Let's see if I can get a laser pointer. Here. Sorry. So here's the guy, right? Did you notice that? How the guy went... it's not... Let's do that. No. Laser. We got a laser. The coin goes up the mizbeach here, the laser, and goes onto this ramp because this is the only way to get to the soivev. This is the area that's not on top, it's not on the bottom, it's smack in the middle. He goes all the way around here, does the blood. Now he comes back. Notice what happens now. He goes down this side ramp, this shortcut ramp, and he's on this ramp. Now what does he do? He does not go down and around. What he does is he's on this side, he just crosses over the ramp, goes down the small ramp, boom, and he's able to pour the shirayim on this corner right over here. Beautiful. So says the Gemara, there were 2 smaller ramps that came out of the main ramp. From one you can get to the side, and from one you get to the soivev. Yisoid is where you pour the shirayim. Sorry, Mark. Hold on. Umuvdalim in a mizbeach meloy nima. And even them, here, let's take a look over here. I'm almost done. I'm like 2 minutes away. So the small ramp is not even touching the large ramp. It's distant like a hair breadth. You have to be able to put like a rope around the mizbeach and fit it in there in that gap. I learned the same exact thing from a different word. It says it's square. Now, if you add the ramp to the mizbeach, it's not square anymore. It's a weird shape. I need both of those psukim. Why? Because of Rachmana Saviv, that you should be able to put a rope around. I would think that the mizbeach is round. Saviv, put a string around it on this round mizbeach. Interesting mizbeach. Because of Rachmana Revuah. No, it has to be square. Because Rachmana Revuah, but if the Torah would just say that it's square, maybe it means that it's a rectangle. It has 90-degree what's it called? 90-degree walls. What is it? Angles. 90-degree angles. Thank you. But it's not square. Oh, for that I need both psukim. Because Rachmana Saviv, that it's perfectly square. Each wall is the same size. Rabbi Isai, have a good Voch. Be'ez Hashem, I'll see you. Well, I'm going to be back in Bet Shemesh on Sunday, but the next English year is Monday morning. Be'ez Hashem, I'll see you then. Have a gewaldige week. L'chaim u'l'shalom. Have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.